Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going depth on something pretty huge. This whole convergence of software-defined networking, blockchain, and quantum computing.
Hmm.
You marked this as something super important to really get a handle on, especially for like the future of cybersecurity and how we're going to build networks going forward.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on to zero in on this. I mean, with everything going on with AI, blockchain, even cloud computing, quantum computing really feels like a total game changer. So I guess our mission here is to pull out the absolute key insights from all this material you sent over without, getting lost in the weeds. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I think for anyone really trying to stay ahead of the curve in this tech world, it's crucial to see how these different pieces all fit together.
Right.
And what's really exciting is that we're potentially talking about a whole new way of thinking about security and how we manage networks when you bring these three together. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. When we talk about SDN, blockchain, and quantum computing all working together, what's the big, like, value proposition? What's the real benefit for our digital systems?
Well, uh, one of the most compelling things is this idea of building infrastructure that's way more resilient, way more secure than what we have now. So you've got software-defined networking, or SDN, right?
Right.
And that basically gives you this centralized control over network traffic. It's
Hmm.
programmable, so you can adjust on the fly. It makes the whole network much more agile, which is essential when you're dealing with these new kinds of security threats that are constantly popping up.
Right.
Then you've got blockchain. Everyone's talking about blockchain, and for good reason. It
Yeah.
provides this immutable record, right?
Hmm.
A ledger that's totally transparent and can't be tampered with. So that's huge for data integrity. But then there's quantum computing, and a lot of folks are worried about quantum computers being able to crack the encryption we use today, and that could affect blockchain too.
Yeah, and that's a big concern a lot of people have. So how does blockchain, with all its security features, fit into that potential vulnerability?
Well, it's definitely something we have to think about. You're right. Quantum computers could, in theory, break a lot of the encryption methods that protect blockchains today. But the way blockchain is built, that distributed nature, all those cryptographically linked blocks, it does give it a base level of resilience.
Okay.
But beyond that, there's a ton of research happening right now on what they're calling quantum-resistant cryptography. These are totally new encryption techniques that would be way harder for even quantum computers to crack.
Yeah.
And the idea is to bake those right into the blockchain protocols.
So it's not like one is making the other obsolete. They're like pushing each other to evolve.
Exactly. They're driving each other forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, this ties into something else that came up in the stuff you shared.
Mm-hmm.
There's this shift happening where it's not just about, throwing more technology at a problem and hoping it gets solved by itself. It's about combining human expertise with these powerful tools to come up with collaborative solutions. That's a big theme.
Yeah, it's about augmentation,
Yeah.
right? Like making us better at what we do, not replacing us.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so one other thing that popped up in the material was this idea of sustainability. How do all these advanced technologies, SDN, blockchain, quantum computing, how do they fit in with this increasing need for solutions that are good for the environment?
That's a really important point, and it's actually encouraging to see that this idea of sustainability is being woven into how people are thinking about these technologies. So, just as an example, think about blockchain's transparency. You can use that to track products through the supply chain, which can lead to more ethical and environmentally sound logistics. And AI, which often runs on cloud infrastructure that's managed using SDN,
Mhm.
AI can be used to optimize how we use resources and make things more efficient overall.
So we're talking about like innovating with a purpose, not just, tech for tech's sake, but actually thinking about the long-term impacts.
Exactly. It's about progress that's sustainable. And I think another theme that came through in your notes was this idea of connecting people, technology, and ideas.
Yeah.
I think you even underlined it.
I might have.
So what does that actually look like when we're talking about SDN, blockchain, quantum computing? How does that play out?
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
Well, the big picture seems to be, moving towards a world that's more interconnected and as a result more sustainable. And these technologies, when you bring them together, they can open up these new ways for people to collaborate and solve problems together. There's a lot of research going on right now looking at how we can use their combined power to tackle some of these really complex global challenges.
Yeah.
And it's all about aligning technological advancement with things like environmental and social well-being.
Yeah.
So it's not just about shiny new tech. It's about using it for good.
So for you listening, trying to like wrap your head around all of this, it seems like the core message is this idea of integration, right? It's about human intelligence working with these incredibly powerful technologies to build systems that are not only more secure but also more sustainable in the long run. Would you agree with
Yeah.
that?
Absolutely, and it highlights how important it is to keep learning and adapting, because this stuff is evolving so quickly.
Mhm.
But but at its heart, this convergence is really about it's about bringing together human creativity with these amazing computational capabilities to build a future where economic growth and responsible environmental management, they can coexist. It's a pretty exciting vision.
This has been really insightful. I think one thing to leave everyone with, given how fast all of this is moving and the huge implications of these technologies all coming together, is to think about the ethical side of it. What are the big ethical considerations that we really need to grapple with as these technologies shape our future? I think that's something we all need to be thinking about, going forward. And that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.